Let's talk about shutter speed as it pertains to filmmaking. Shutter speed is part of the holy trinity of camera settings, or the exposure triangle. Shutter speed works along with the other two aspects of the triangle, ISO and aperture, to affect how our camera works and captures images. Shutter speed affects how long the camera's shutter remains open. When the shutter is open, the image is exposed to light. When we adjust the shutter speed, we change how long the shutter stays open, how long the image is exposed to light, and how much light is let in. Shutter speed also affects the amount of blur caused by moving subjects within the image. A slower shutter speed causes more motion blur, while a faster shutter speed reduces motion blur. Shutter speed is measured in fractions of a second, or milliseconds for the most part, but it can be increased up to whole minutes. Shutter speed measurements are written like 1/500 that reads as 1/500th, or 1/2 that reads as 1/2. Higher numbers, which would be moving towards whole numbers like 1/4 or 1/8, are considered slower shutter speeds, because the shutter is open longer, or you could think of it as the shutter opening and closing more slowly. Let's take a look at a diagram from my upcoming resource, the Filmmaker's Field Guide, to see the range of shutter speed settings and how they affect our images. So let's recap a bit. In regards to the exposure triangle, which shutter speed is a part of, it controls exposure, and depending on lighting conditions, it can brighten an image with a lower shutter speed and darken an image with a faster shutter speed. Shutter speed also controls the motion blur of any moving objects or subjects within our images. With a slow shutter speed, we will see more motion blur, and with a faster shutter speed, our motion will be sharp and more jittery. Fast shutter speeds are often used in filmmaking when showcasing frantic action, like war scenes or fighting scenes that need to feel punchy and chaotic. One final note about shutter speed is how it relates to your FPS settings. It is a general rule of thumb when trying to achieve quote-unquote cinematic looking video to double your shutter speed in relation to your FPS. So if we are shooting in 24 FPS, we would want our shutter speed set as close as possible to 1/48th for an ideal image with cinematic motion blur. So if you wanted to increase your frame rate and wanted to retain the same amount of motion blur, you would need to figure out the double shutter speed of the new frame rate. To avoid doing math, because I hate math of any kind, I prefer to use the 180-degree shutter rule. I set my camera to use shutter angle instead of shutter speed. These two measurements are basically two ways of doing the same exact thing, just different ways of measuring. When shooting a video at 24 FPS, the shutter speed of 1/48 is considered a shutter angle of 180 degrees. The benefit here is that if you switch your camera to read shutter angle instead of speed, when or if you change your frame rate from 24 FPS, your camera will still apply a shutter angle of 180 degrees without you having to figure out what the correct speed should be. So no matter what frame rate you choose, your camera is going to remain at the correct shutter speed. Let's take a look at some in-camera tests with motion to see how changing the shutter speed affects our images in real time. And there you have it, guys. This video concludes our look at the three separate aspects of the exposure triangle. Hopefully by now you have a good basic understanding of how the three aspects work together in changing the look and feel of our images. If you have any additional questions or comments in regards to the exposure triangle, be sure to post them in the comments below, and hopefully me or one of our other wonderful viewers can help you out. Big thanks to our newest channel members, Andre Vandenhever, David Coles, and Paul Kane. If you would like to become a channel member yourself just like them and get access to exclusive posts, videos, emojis, and much more, just click the join button located on the channel's header. I'd also like to give a big thanks to our sponsor, Epidemic Sound. Be sure to follow the link below for a free 30-day trial to have access to some of the best royalty-free music and sound effects for video creation. I hope you found this video very beneficial, and if you did, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for coming along on this filmmaking journey with me. I am Ryan, and I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.